A key yet under-discussed part of Solarpunk, as a part of degrowth and preventing waste, is freecycling. Freecycling is a catch-all for any act that takes things that were going to be thrown in the trash and instead are distributed to people who need them. The most well-known site on the internet is freecycle.org, but Facebook Market and some Facebook Freecycle groups exist, as well as Craigslist. Here you can post things you don't want and people can come and get them, or you can negotiate dropping them off. It's a great start, except there is the tedious issue of posting the item, maybe taking a picture of the item, and then someone has to come and get it from you. Another alternative is a Freecycle event, often called the really free market. These can happen once or twice a month depending on supply and demand. These events should be viewed as an organizational or external event as opposed to a community event. We will discuss why a little later. Find a park or indoor space such as a library or church, and just set up signs or blankets or tables to specify where things go. People can come in and place their stuff, and people can mix and talk, and everyone can come away with something. And set aside a space that people can set their stuff that other people won't take because they've been called for. It's a great way to offload stuff and not feel as bad about getting rid of things, because it's quite possible if you need the item, you can get it again at a Freecycle market. Also, you're giving it to someone that you can actually see take it and be excited about. It's like a treasure hunt when you can run it aware of some of the hidden flaws in human nature. Because this is an organizational event and not a community event, people showing up, especially if they find out about free stuff with none of the philosophy around why you're doing it, or some sense of community ownership, will often just immediately jump on things and take them, leaving nothing for anyone else, killing all joy doing this kind of event because there's no payoff. The people I've seen who do this are often financially strapped, and if English isn't their first language, explaining why this is happening can be complicated. However, if they snatch up everything and don't realize that they're killing the goose that laid the golden egg, that feeling of community and treasure hunting and sharing is what the people sharing are getting out of it. If they don't get that, it will collapse. I know, it's happened in my community group as well. Just as money is a social construct, so is community and the commons, even though both have been around for much longer, just forgotten. That is why all Freecycle events must involve a private community event to plan and discuss the best course of actions, and then, like with any other event, a debrief to break down any issues involved. The best rule is to ask people to only take, say, 10 items every 10 or 20 minutes. This allows people to be more picky about what they take and gives everyone a chance to find something cool. Perhaps having a timekeeper will help to let people know when the next wave can happen. At the end, when everyone is satisfied and gets something, then it can be a free-for-all. The more people snatch up at the end, the less you have to carry off to Goodwill, assuming you don't have a rule that people have to take what they bring that is unwanted. Having designated people in the community to take things off can be the best option. Freecycle events seem to be the perfect place for human altruism. But if people aren't aware of how the commons functions, they will have no reason to hold back. These rules can make things awkward, especially if you're changing midstream after setting things up as a free-for-all to begin with, but managing the commons is something people can understand if they realize it's a finite resource and they will be destroying it if they don't control themselves. Once you've fallen into the habit of a free market, it becomes addictive, even an obsession, where you will be checking out dumpsters and trash for things to rescue from the landfill that can be used by someone else. You just have to find the right person who needs it. If they are available for people from the outside to enter, apartment complexes are sadly some of the best places to dumpster dive, especially when someone is evicted. So much waste occurs from evictions. It's a great place to just snag things for the next event, to the point that depending on your obsession, you might look like a hoarder just waiting for the next event. Freeganism is a concept of living on free things as much as possible, especially perfectly good items sent to the trash. Some take this to the extreme where they hunt for food in the trash outside of grocery stores and restaurants, which in many states is illegal, and if you're doing this because they throw out a ton of perfectly good food, make sure you look into safe practices for freeganism when it comes to food. Ending up sick to save money and something from going to waste is not worth it. Freecycling is a great way to be Solarpunk, with the reuse part of the 3 R's on full display, redistributing perfectly good items that without a network often goes into the president of Goodwill or other thrift stores' pockets instead of going to people who can actually use them, thanks to the very flawed system that is the US nonprofit system. You can be that network and supply chain needed for this kind of redistribution. You can partner with the DIY and upcycling people so they can take unwanted items and rework them, or get with the right to repair folks and see if they want to tinker and repair some broken items found to become useful again. Or you can take one of them as your secondary focus. Freecycling and freeganism is a rush of dopamine when done right because you saved something from being wasted, prevented landfill waste, reduced consumption and manufacturing emissions that said item filled the need of instead of buying new, and got to see someone excited at the treasure they got to go home with. Also, you get free stuff as well, and it makes things you own feel a lot more temporary so you can let go of things easier as you know there's always a source to replace it at some point without spending a dime. Happy dumpster diving and free cycling, everyone. Go forth and reduce waste caused by buying and dumping items that Americans especially appear addicted to.